What's up, everyone? I have been working with an attorney the past couple of months to completely redo our client contract, our terms of service that all of our clients agree to. And as I wrap up that project and now have the final official documents back from the attorney and ready to be sent out to our clients, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to talk to you guys about the importance of these documents and some of the things that should be included in them. But before I get into all that good information, I would love it if you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with my weekly content on what it's like to not only be a full-time professional pet sitter and dog walker, but build a successful pet care business. I would love it if you shared this video with other pet professionals and drop any suggestions that you guys have down in the comments below so that we can all reap the benefits together. Now, nothing that I say about these documents in this video should be seen as legal advice or financial advice or anything like that. For those of you that don't know, I have been a full-time professional pet sitter and dog walker for over 8 years and own an award-winning team of pet professionals servicing all of Northeast and Central Florida. So everything that I say about these documents comes from my own personal experience for the better part of a decade in this industry. So now let's get into it. Let's just get right into it. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is it just shocks me that how many pet sitters and dog walkers don't have a written agreement. I think it is absolutely essential for the success of your business to have everything in writing and signed by both you and your client. Without having what you are responsible for and what your clients are responsible for in a written and signed document, there's no proof of anything and there's no protection for anyone should something not go according to plan. And if you're new to pet sitting and dog walking, just take my word for it when I say that the spoken plan often goes out the window pretty quickly when you are working with animals and strangers and in their homes. It is absolutely essential to have everything in writing. Now, that being said, before you can start deciding what to put in writing, I would suggest that you first decide how you are going to handle this document. The first question that you have to ask yourself is, are you going to write this document yourself? And if so, do you have the skills to do so, to have a proper legally binding document that is going to cover all of the bases? And if not, are you going to have an attorney write this document for you? And what is that going to look like? Is that something that you can afford? Is that something that is feasible for you and your business at this juncture? Now, and then once you decide that, you have to decide, are you going to have a physical document that your clients physically sign, maybe in the meet and greet? And then are you going to have a way to keep all of these documents safe and organized, like in a filing cabinet or something? Or are you going to do everything digitally, which is what I would suggest, considering it's 2021. I mean, come on, no reason for printed documents in today's world. And if you're going to go to the digital route, are you going to use like DocuSign or some other platform like that? How much is that going to cost you? Is that feasible for your business at this time? All things that you really need to think about and decide on before you even get into what is actually included in this document. Now, as you start to think about what you're going to include in your client contract, you need to take a step back and revisit your why. Think about why you got into pet care, why you are growing a business, why you are pet sitting and dog walking, and also revisit your business plan. Is it your plan to stay a solo pet care provider, or do you want to grow a team of pet sitters and dog walkers? All of that stuff needs to go into your consideration when you're thinking about your policies and how you are going to enforce your policies. I'll tell you that when I started many years ago as a solo pet care provider, the policies that I had and the way that I enforced them were entirely different than when I started growing a team. And especially now that we are really growing as a business and have a lot of people on the team and a wide service area, It became very essential for the success and growth of my business to really not have a document that I wrote myself, like in the beginning, but to work with an attorney, someone that was skilled in writing legally binding documents to make sure that my team and my clients were all fully protected from every angle and that nothing was falling through the cracks. Now, all of that being said, what I would suggest is breaking your document down into sections. You'll notice that I have our document broken down into several sections. The first section is our acceptance of terms. Our second section is about the service itself. Our third section is about payments and cancellations. Our fourth section is all about medical stuff. And then our fifth section is all about property. Now, some of the policies that are going to go into these different sections are really going to be different depending on how you want to run your business, the type of services that you are offering, and etc. But some of these things are industry standard. And that's another thing that you should be taking into consideration. And that's something that I did not know when I wrote our first agreement many years ago. I had no idea what industry norms and standards were. So just do a little bit of research and take that into your thought process. Now, your acceptance of terms, this first section of your contract, is pretty generic and is going to be pretty much the same for most businesses across the board. This is where you say that the following agreement is between said business and said client to start on X date for all future services. The client cannot get services without agreeing to said policies and such. Blah, blah, blah. All that stuff will be in that first section. You might also say, like we do here, that we can update our policies at any time, and should that happen, the client will be notified in writing. Anything like that, put that all in that first section, pretty generic. Moving on to the second section, all about services. Talk about what services you are going to offer. For us, we offer fully customizable drop-in visits, dog walks, overnight care, live-in care, pet transportation, and training reinforcement. So I lay all of that out on the first bullet point under services. And then under that, I say that it is the client's responsibility to give us all of the proper instructions and materials to successfully provide these services. We're not going to provide insulin for a cat that is diabetic. That is the client's obligation. Some of you may provide your own leashes and harnesses. We don't. We use the one that the client provides. All of that kind of stuff. Put that in writing under your services section. You'll also say that in our services section, we say that all of our services will be timed and GPS tracked through Time to Pet, and that the client must submit all of their scheduling requests and make all of their payments on Time to Pet, and that we keep all of our communication through the instant messaging feature on Time to Pet. We don't text our clients. We do not talk to our clients on the phone. Everything goes through Time to Pet. So we put all of that in writing under the services section. If you're using Pocket Suite, if you're doing it through Google Calendar and text, whatever your method is, make sure that your clients know what the deal is. Put it in writing. We also we operate on a 2-hour service window. So if a client request a visit, let's say at noon, the service provider will be there sometime between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. That is in writing in the services section. We also talk about our inclement weather policy is under the services section. We also put that we will not work with any client that uses an e-collar or a shock collar or anything like that. So anything that has to do with how you want to provide services should be in writing in this section. Now, moving on to your payment and cancellation section, our section 3, again, I say payment is due on time to pet before the service starts, and that is an industry standard norm to get payment before the service, not afterwards. I know that some companies do it that way, but the standard is payment ahead of time. We also say that we require a deposit on any kind of larger requests. We have all of that in writing. We have our cancellation fee in writing. I would suggest that you have a cancellation fee. I talk about our holiday fees, which is also something that I would suggest, and also something that is a industry norm to have a holiday fee. All of that kind of stuff is in the payment and cancellations section. And then moving on to our section 4, which is our medical section. This is our veterinary release form. We talk about how the client is required to have their primary veterinarian listed on their time to pet profile, and we say in writing that should an emergency arise, we would first attempt to contact the client. If we cannot contact them, we will try to utilize their veterinarian on file. But if we cannot contact or get in with that veterinarian on time in an emergency, they give us the right to choose a veterinarian, blah, blah, blah. Again, the veterinary release form. So if we can't contact them and we have to make decisions, they give us that right. Do not resuscitate wishes. All of that needs to be put in writing, either with their veterinarian or on their time to pet profile. All of that kind of stuff goes into the medical section. Another good thing is to require that all pets are up to date on all necessary vaccinations according to local, state, and federal laws, including but not limited to rabies, distemper, and parvo. All of that kind of stuff in writing, medical section. Then moving on to our property, which is our 5th section, that's where we talk about a locksmith. Should we need to use a locksmith because of a faulty lock or some occurrence like that, they give us that right to utilize the locksmith, and they will reimburse us for doing that. We talk about how, should something happen with the property over a pet sitting or house sitting stay, that we will do everything we can to rectify the situation, to contact the client, to use their plumber, electrician, handyman that they typically would use. But if they are not available and it's an emergency, they give us the right to make a decision. All of that stuff in writing. And then at the end of our client contract, we do say that we reserve the right to terminate this agreement at any time, and that the contract is interpreted and governed by our state's laws. I know this all sounds a little bit of an intense. I know this is a little bit of a long video and I'm throwing a lot of information at you. But again, this is so important to have everything in writing. And it's important to just take the services that you provide and the way that you want your business to run and the future projection for your business into account with all of these policies, and just get it in writing. Make sure that your client has a copy with your signature on it. Make sure that you have a copy with their signature on it. Super important. I would love it if you shared any suggestions that you have down in the comments below. If you have any questions about wording these policies and other policies that you maybe should include or should not include, or industry norms and standards, anything like that, please feel free to connect with me down in the comments below, or you can send me an email at doug@badtothebonepetcare.com. I hope this has been a useful video for you. I love helping you guys any chance that I get in any way that I can. We are all in this together in the pet care industry. I'm Doug the Dog Guy, owner and founder of Bad to the Bone Pet Care, reminding you to stay positive.